If you think silver jewelry is an investment, you may not want to hear this because most people who buy silver chains and bracelets aren't stacking, they're shopping. And when it's time to sell, the market doesn't care what you paid. It only cares about weight. Let's talk about the math nobody wants to run. Subscribe, like, share. Thank you. Let me go ahead and say this up front so nobody gets this all twisted. I'm not against silver, I'm not against jewelry, and I'm definitely not against owning tangible assets. But we need to draw a clear line between something you enjoy and something you invest in, because those are not the same thing. And silver jewelry sits right in the middle of that confusion. A lot of people say, it's stacking I can wear. It sounds smart, feels smart, but let's slow that down. When you buy a silver round close to spot, you're paying mostly for metal. When you buy a silver chain from a jewelry store, you're paying for design, manufacturing, branding, retail margin, and yes, the metal. But the metal is only part of the price. Most sterling silver is 92.5% silver, not 999 fine. So right out the gate, you're not even dealing with pure bullion. Now let's talk numbers in simple terms. If silver is, say, 25 bucks an ounce and your chain weighs a few ounces, the raw melt value might be far lower than what you paid, sometimes dramatically lower. That gap, that's not investment value, that's retail markup. And here's the part nobody talks about when they call jewelry a hedge. When you go to sell it, the market doesn't care what you paid. It doesn't care what the brand is. It doesn't care how clean it looks. It doesn't care that you bought it during a dip. What they do is they weigh it, test it, and offer melt, often below spot. That's the reality of liquidation. Now compare that to bullion. A recognizable round or government coin has tighter spreads, stronger resale channels, more predictable pricing. Jewelry? It's priced like a luxury item on the way in and treated like scrap metal on the way out. That's not an investment structure. That's consumption with residual value. And there's nothing wrong with consumption, but let's just call it what it is. If you buy a chain because you like how it looks, how it feels, how it represents something, that's perfectly fine. Just don't confuse that with strategic stacking, because stacking is about efficiency. It's about reducing friction between buy and sell, reducing premium, reducing unnecessary costs. Jewelry, it adds friction. It adds markup. It adds lower purity. It adds style risk. And style changes. What looks great today might not be desirable 10 years from now. Bullion doesn't care about trends. Weight is weight. Now I can already hear somebody saying, but silver is silver. Not exactly. In theory, yes. In practice, no. Markets price things differently depending on form. That's why a plain generic round trades differently than a collectible coin, and why both trade differently than a bracelet. Form matters, liquidity matters, recognition matters. If your goal is preserving purchasing power, you want the most direct route between you and melt value. Jewelry is not the direct route, it's the scenic route. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's important to understand what you're actually buying. There's also a psychological side to this. Calling jewelry an investment makes the purchase feel responsible. It softens the spending decision. It turns a luxury buy into something that sounds strategic. That's human nature. But strategy requires clarity. If silver doubles tomorrow, yes, your jewelry technically rises with it, but you still have to overcome the markup you paid. If you bought at a heavy retail premium, silver might have to move a lot just for you to break even. Most people never run that math. They just assume metal equals profit. That's not how spreads work. And here's another angle people use. It's portable wealth. Sure, of course it is, but so are coins, so are small bars, and so are fractionals. And those options usually come with tighter buy-sell spreads. If your goal is mobility and liquidity, bullion still wins. So what is silver jewelry? It's wearable metal, it's tangible, it's better than disposable fashion, and yeah, it holds some value. And if you enjoy it, that has value too. But enjoyment and investment are two different categories, and problems start when we mix them. because when it's time to sell, emotion disappears. The market gets cold very fast. It becomes weight times purity minus spread. That's it. No bonus for looking good, no refund on retail margin, just metal. So here's the balanced take. If you want to wear silver because you like it, do it. If you want to stack efficiently, focus on products built for liquidity. Just don't blur the lines. Don't convince yourself that a 200% retail premium is a smart hedge because the math doesn't adjust for feelings. And stacking, real stacking, is about discipline. It's about understanding what you're buying and why. Not everything that contains silver is automatically a good investment. Some things are just purchases, and that's okay. Just know which one you're making. Alright, so that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching today. And please go ahead and put your opinions and thoughts down in the comment section below, and I will see you on the next one.